Streaming on clickorlando.com, you're watching News 6 at 10 p.m.
Now on News 6 and new at 10, ICE trying to recruit local deputies. The email feds are sending out and what it's promising those who sign up.
Yeah, I like it. Bill like $300-400.
People all over Central Florida are feeling the heat and struggling for relief as ACs strain our power bills. How one local community is working on long-term ways to help. Plus, a stray cloud scrubs today's Crew 11 launch. Will weather get in the way tomorrow? But we start now at 10, tonight with a terrifying wake-up call for a senior.
I was lying in my bed and I heard something like shots.
Turns out gunshots are exactly what she heard. A stray bullet hit her home during a shootout in a nearby park. Tonight, police hope you can help them catch the people who opened fire near a playground. Thank you for joining us. I'm Matt Austin. Ginger has the night off. So this happened Tuesday night in Eatonville, specifically in the Catalina Park subdivisions, right off Kennedy Boulevard and Wymore. The woman whose home was hit told community correspondent Troy Campbell nothing like this has ever happened in the 5 decades she's called it home.
We spoke with Eatonville's police chief, who says his officers are doing extra patrols in this area. We also spoke to a woman who says one of those bullets hit her home near Catalina Park.
Take me to Tuesday. What happened?
I was lying in my bed and I heard something like shots.
Dolly McCall has lived in her Eatonville home for more than 5 decades and says she's never experienced anything like the shootout at nearby Catalina Park Tuesday night.
I wanted to know what those shots, somebody shooting at the house, why they were shooting. And I told them I didn't know why they were shooting, but because, my first time this ever happened here, and I've been here about 3 years.
Mrs. McCall says her bedroom is on the far end. This is the bedroom window for her son. Right here is her grandson's bedroom. And you can see just how close the bullet came from hitting his window.
Right side the second window there. See
That
that?
got real close to the window.
Yeah, it did.
Just inches to see how close
and
the
see,
bullet got. That has to be pretty terrifying.
yeah, see, and that's my bedroom right there. And, it's kind of scary when something that close hit, like that.
What's your message to anyone who might have information for who's responsible?
Well, if they have it, they need to give it up.
Eatonville Police Chief Stanley Murray says witnesses spotted 4 men wearing ski masks, armed with semi-automatic rifles, fleeing Catalina Park in several different cars. And what are your thoughts on how this could have been much worse with these bullets flying in this neighborhood?
Well, you see, this is an open area. There's a lot of things here. You have playground for kids. You got basketball courts.
What if there were
children
children at the park?
It could have been a whole nother situation.
Neighbor Valerie Chambers says she hopes the gunmen are found.
That's bad when you around here just shooting up the neighborhood and then tomorrow you walk around like ain't nothing happened. I might not know who you are, but like I said, eventually it's gonna come back to bite you in the rear.
Again, multiple residents out here tell us they're just thankful no one was harmed. And anyone with information on the 4 suspects is urged to call Crime Line at 1-800-423-TIPS. In Eatonville, I'm your community correspondent, Troy Campbell, News 6.
Breaking now at 10 tonight, Governor DeSantis has turned up the pace of executions in the Sunshine State. As of tonight, a record 9 people have been put to death in 2025, and that record will almost certainly be shattered again. Tonight, a man who used a machete to kill his wife and their 2 children in the Panhandle was given a lethal injection. Edward Zarguski was pronounced dead at 6:12 at the state prison near Stark. The 60-year-old's been locked up since those murders back in 1994. Zarguski first beat his wife Sylvia with a crowbar and then turned the machete on their children, 7-year-old Edward and 5-year-old Anna, before cutting his wife as well. Sylvia wanted a divorce. He told others he would kill his family before that ever happened. The previous modern-day state record was 8 executions in a year. That was set in 1984 and 2014. The death penalty was reinstated after a Supreme Court decision in 1976. On Tuesday at 10 and 11, we broke the news Governor DeSantis signed a local man's death warrant. He's on track to be the 11th person to be put to death in 2025. Curtis Wyndham is 59 years old. Here's his mugshot. If the face and the case are not familiar to you, it's because his crime took place back in 1992. He first shot a man who owed him money in Orange County before fatally shooting an on and off again girlfriend, Valerie Davis. Then he tracked down and shot her mother to death in her car at a stop sign. We've posted more background on his case, other executions, including the latest death warrant signed by the governor. You can look at the homepage of clickorlando.com. Also new at 10 tonight, proof ICE is turning to Florida law enforcement to swell its ranks as the Federal Immigration Enforcement Agency steps up raids. It is confirmed tonight it has made tentative job offers to more than 1,000 people nationwide since July 4th. That's thanks to $170 billion approved by Congress in the president's so-called Big Beautiful Bill. For the past few days, we've heard reports ICE is looking to hire deputies. A law enforcement source forwarded News 6 this ICE recruitment email. We checked with all local sheriff's offices. So far, most have not received it, but community correspondent Laverne McGee confirms it has reached members of the Osceola County Sheriff's Office. The email comes from an ICE email account called Join the Mission. It begins, quote, ICE is actively recruiting officers like you who are committed to serving with integrity, professionalism, and a deep sense of duty. This is more than a job. It's a continuation of your service to our country. It promises a signing bonus up to $50,000 and a 5-year commitment. This recruiting push comes as the head of ICE and others in the Trump White House have called for an even greater increase in immigration raids. News 6 has reached out to ICE and the Florida Sheriff's Association for comment. We have not yet heard back. Meanwhile, there are new developments in Orange County's dispute with ICE.
To date, the state hasn't kicked in any money in terms of whatever the difference is.
Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings reiterating today that the amount of money federal agencies pay for the county to house federal inmates in the jail is just too low. This comes as the tension over immigration issues is growing. There's been renewed on the county's relationship with ICE. That tension spilled out in dueling press conferences yesterday. Orlando community correspondent Mike Valenti explains.
County leaders tell us it costs about $145 per day to house an inmate in the Orange County Jail. And per an intergovernmental service agreement, for a federal inmate, the feds reimburse the county at a rate of $88 per day. The discrepancy did not get much attention until this year, when ICE, with the cooperation of the state of Florida, ramped up immigration enforcement, detaining more undocumented immigrants at a faster clip.
To date, the state hasn't kicked in any money in terms of whatever the difference is. We're working with our comptroller's office to really validate what the true cost is for Orange County to hold federal inmates in our facilities.
News 6 spoke to Mayor Jerry Demings Thursday, a day after the mayor and Attorney General James Uthmeier clashed over a letter that Uthmeier sent signaling that if the county does not sign onto a modified ICE agreement to transport federal inmates to places like Alligator Alcatraz, then there would be consequences, perhaps even removal from office.
I spent more years on the streets of Florida patrolling our streets as a law enforcement officer than he's been alive.
I know the mayor said some, disparaging things about me. That's all fine and good. My response is, look at the law.
Do you think your comments were disparaging at all in reference to the Attorney General?
I haven't heard him say that, but if he did, my comments were directly related to the letter that we received and comments that he's made.
He was possibly alluding to the fact that you mentioned his age, that he's 37, and that you've been in law enforcement longer than he's been alive.
I'm not going to go there. I said what I said at that point. We'll move forward. The state has not had great communication with us about the immigration issues. We just got a letter released via the media. They didn't even afford us the courtesy of directly sending the letter to us. And so I don't know, when you say disparaging, listen, we're going to move forward.
And speaking of moving forward, Orange County commissioners plan to address the modified ICE agreement at their next meeting Tuesday. When we asked Demings whether he will stay the course and refuse to sign it, he said, stay tuned. I'm your Orlando community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Another big story tonight, trying to beat the heat, and the struggle is real. After an entire week of scorching, sweltering conditions, a few of us are finally seeing some more rain, but air conditioners, those things are working overtime, and it's worse in places like Orlando's Paramore neighborhood. News 6's Jarrell Baker shows us why living in the shadow of downtown really cranks up the heat.
It's not hard to tell it's crazy hot outside, especially in Paramore.
It's hot like hell.
Calvin Jones says that it's so hot that he has to keep moving or he'll burn up.
Got to go inside and outside.
Inside, outside, or just go around the corner out in the shade over there.
According to the Environmental Protection Agency, people who live in communities near a downtown center, often low income, are also more likely to have pre-existing health conditions that can flare up in the heat. For Jones, who takes medication for his heart condition and high cholesterol, he says that he has to keep his AC running constantly, but his window units are costing him a hefty penny.
Bill like $300-$400. Last month it was 200 something. It went down. Oh wow!
So that's 200 is down from 300.
Right.
Community activist Luana Gelzer is using machines funded by a federal grant to test air quality in Paramore. She says that all the heat is trapping emissions and car exhaust from I-4 in their area.
Because it cannot leave the ozone, so it's trapped. Therefore, we're breathing in more toxins than we ever breathed in before.
That's why her team is preparing extreme heat, hurricane, and disaster preparation kits.
Kids are getting ready to go back to school. Well, we all want nice book bags and everything, but it would be nice if every kid had electrolytes, tablets in their book bag.
Orlando is now encouraging families to cool off at community pools, which are free to people who live in the city. Commissioner Shan Rose says that Orlando received...
Even during our interview, the phone was ringing off. Temperatures break records. HVAC specialists are slammed.
Sometimes we find that, renters may call and say, if I make a complaint about something, their landlord is raising their rents. So what we're doing is saying, hey, we're going to help offset some of those costs and be able to lower bills.
She says they're still working on how best to roll out that program. The city is also looking to plant trees, bringing more natural shade to Paramore and throughout Orlando. In Paramore, Jarrell Baker, News 6.
Meteorologist Samara Kokinos is in for Jonathan tonight. Samara, we're not getting much relief this weekend, but there will be more rain.
Correct. There will be more rain than what we have been seeing right now on the radar. We had a few showers to the south of the city that have completely fizzled out, but more rain is on the way as we see another little isolated cell fizzling upward as we speak. So I'll be back to pinpoint that rain, where it's headed, how long it's going to stick around, and what you can expect as we head into the upcoming weekend.
Plus, local firefighters turn out for a truly special occasion. How they helped Miss Barbara celebrate as she turns 101.
Reading, writing, and rising costs. I'm Catherine Silver in Seminole County, where families are gearing up to go back to school with backpacks full of supplies. We'll show you how your donations make a difference.
That's next. You're watching News 6 at 10 live on a Thursday night. We're covering Tildenville, Waterford Lakes, and all of Central Florida. We are less than 2 weeks away from the first day of school for most of Central Florida. This year, inflation and tariffs are making school supplies even more of a burden. Surveys suggest shoppers will spend close to $900 on electronics, clothing, and supplies. Many families just can't afford that. So Seminole County community correspondent Catherine Silver shows us a new resource to help bridge that gap for some families.
I have my favorite character folder.
It's backpacks like this filled with school supplies.
This thing is full.
That are filling the gaps for families here in Seminole County, helping kids like Malia Kerr have a successful start.
It's a good thing for me and my sister.
This soon-to-be third grader is one of more than 200 kids getting a jump start thanks to a supply drive. This distribution day at the Boys and Girls Club in Altamont is a real community effort.
It makes a big difference. It alleviates the pressures of the families having to provide supplies for the kids. We've seen kids go through stories you wouldn't believe, but because we were able to give them the support, because we have great partners, we were able to see them through what we say their bright futures.
At present, around 3,500 kids in Seminole County schools experienced homelessness last year. The district says the number continues to grow as families grapple with rising costs. And it's not just supplies children need, it's food and clothes. This clothing pantry is being built at Stenstrom Elementary for students to use and run.
They can feel happy of what they're wearing, and they don't have to be like, oh, this needs to be washed.
They call it Stenstrom Styles.
This just takes it to the next level. Our free and reduced numbers continue to tick up.
Robert Vanderloop is the principal.
They're able to get access to clothing through our social worker, and we are also coupling this with our micro society, and that allows us to make sure that we have workers, managers, all student-led. All of the product, as far as furniture that you see here, is donated through the partnership with IKEA Orlando, so we can't thank them enough. And then all of the clothing is donated from our families, and then we're also working with the GROW program for new shoes.
Could you do this without the community support?
No.
Community. It's what makes Stenstrom the perfect fit.
Are you proud that this is part of Stenstrom Elementary?
Yes, I'm very proud because I am a student here, and that means I'm a part of it too.
In Seminole County, Catherine Silver, News 6.
Catherine, thank you. Be sure to watch our Back to School with News 6 special. We want to make sure you and your family are ready for that first day. We'll have everything you need to know next Wednesday at 3 p.m. on News 6. Click Orlando.com and the News 6 Plus Smart TV app. Right now, the countdown is back on at Kennedy Space Center. If all goes as planned, the 4 Crew 11 astronauts will lift off in just about 13 and a half hours from historic Launch Pad 39A. As you can see in this live picture of the pad here, the Falcon 9 is supposed to be ready to go. The question, will the weather cooperate? Today's launch was scrubbed with just over a minute left on the countdown clock. Ginger called it live on the air.
Listening in. Oh, and we have a scrub, guys. We just heard that. We have a scrub. Oh, my goodness.
Moments later, SpaceX made the reason for the scrub clear.
Bad luck on weather there. We just got clipped by a cumulus cloud right over the pad, so ended up scrubbing for weather.
You could see that cloud there even before Crew 11 got to climb out of the SpaceX Dragon capsule. Ginger was out talking with some disappointed young space fans.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how disappointed were you?
9.
I don't know. Have you ever seen one before?
No, I haven't. That's why we're excited.
We wanted to see the launch. Yeah, we wanted to see the launch. We've never seen like an up-close launch, but it's cool. They're probably going to reschedule it. We'll probably come back and see it. It's no biggie.
It's tomorrow.
Really? Okay. Yep.
Okay, NASA and SpaceX plan to try again tomorrow. At 11:43 a.m., the official launch forecast gives a 75% chance of good weather, a little lower than today. We'll bring you live coverage on News 6, the News 6 Plus streaming app, and clickorlando.com. New at 10 tonight, the launch wasn't the reason firefighters were excited in Oviedo. With the sound of their siren blaring, they pulled up to the house there of Miss Barbara Gaston. She was waiting for them outside in her wheelchair. Today, Barbara turned 101 years old, so firefighters brought along the Chick-fil-A cow to make her day special. Oviedo Fire Rescue shared these images and video with us earlier tonight. Happy birthday from News 6, Barbara. Good stuff. And she was out there in the heat to greet those firefighters. Mara Kokinos joins us now. How are we looking as we edge ever closer to the weekend?
Well, as we head into the weekend, it looks like we're going to get some rain relief. So there's that. We got that going for us right now on the radar. We did have a few little showers that were to the south of Orlando, but since then we've seen a few more flare up along the I-4 corridor. As I zoom in a little bit tighter, you can see they basically expand all the way from Orange City, Deltona, a little bit heavy there in the Deltona area with a few lightning strikes, all the way back into the Winter Springs area, and then also off to the east over near Tuliota, as well as just to the north of University Park. I don't anticipate the rain to last too much longer, but you could hear some rumbles of thunder and see some lightning off in the sky. That's exactly what we're dealing with right now. 95 degrees is what we got up to in Orlando today, about 3 degrees above average, but staying below that record of 100. Let me tell you something. Tomorrow, we're dealing with another day where we're going to see heat advisories and late day storms. So just prepare for that heat. We will have heat advisories across a good portion of Central Florida. I'll show you that in a moment, but higher storm chances as we head into the weekend. The good news, the tropics are nice and quiet for now. That's how we like it. Heat risk, as we look at tomorrow, you'll notice that there used to be a lot more purple here on this map. Over the last couple of days, we showed you a lot of widespread purple. Now we're getting back into the red as well as the orange. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be hot and still dangerous for you to be out there for extended periods of time. It just means that we're on a downward trend as we start to get a little bit more rain. That's going to help us out too. Heat advisory will start tomorrow at noon through 7 o'clock, where you can see heat index values up to 100 potentially, and with the exception of as well Sumter and Polk County are excluded from that heat advisory. The rest of Central Florida is under that advisory through 7 once again. Here's a big look at the picture. Here we got satellite and radar with this front to our north entering northern Georgia as well as Alabama. And this particular front is going to continue to make its way south. It's going to basically stall out across northern Florida, providing us with a lot more deeper moisture. High pressure is going to shift to the south and east, kind of weakening that barrier that's been giving us the drier conditions. We're still going to get the heat, but we're going to see a lot more rain chances. So for tomorrow, down the I-4 corridor and back to the south and east is where your highest rain chances are. And as we look at that on your clouds and rain forecast, we start the clock at 7. Plenty of sunshine and heat to start the day. By the afternoon, maybe a 1 or 2 showers, possibly near the Cape. We'll be watching that for that launch. But notice the majority of the action is going to be to the south and east. You could have a few downpours through at least the drive time home, maybe a few lingering storms through about 9 or 10 o'clock tomorrow night. So here's a look at tonight. Your overnight lows will stay in the mid to upper 70s to lower 80s. And as we look at that 7-day forecast, you'll notice sweltering heat for today and tomorrow with high temperatures right around 96 and 95. We bump up the rain chance to about 70%. That brings temperatures down a smidge. Not a whole lot, but we'll take it, right? We need the rain for our lawns, right there, Matt?
We'll take it, yeah. Ever since Terminal C opened at Orlando International Airport, we've been promised a pedestrian bridge from the parking garage to the terminal. News 6 anchor Eric Von Anken has been tracking its progress for years now. He's learning when it may finally be finished.
There is still only one way to walk to Terminal C, from right here, the train or the tram. So to be clear, if you're arriving here in the new Terminal C, the tram station is right down there. You can see it coming in from the old Terminals A and B. Or if you're arriving here from the Brightline station, you still cannot use that new pedestrian bridge. You still must trek through there, the parking garage, for at least another month, what is typically the hottest month of the year.
I'm sweating. I'm tired. I don't want to do this no more.
Since 2022, when Terminal C first opened, I've been telling you about one of the chief complaints.
It just gets stuck there and then everything falls off.
The hike. Passengers loaded with luggage forced to trudge through the open-air parking garage over the rubber expansion joints that are not friendly to small suitcase wheels. The better way, an indoor pedestrian bridge, has been in the works since 2023, when the airport awarded the $100 million construction contract to an airport builder called White's. But according to this email sent to Orange County's mayor back in May from a White's subcontractor, 12 local subs were not paid by White's $10 million for their work on the bridge for more than half a year. The email says White's is supposed to pay subs within a week. We were tipped off that subcontractors had stopped showing up, so work on the bridge had stopped. White's told me it does not comment on issues related to individual contracts, but, quote, while we recognize that disputes can arise and often involve differing perspective, we are actively meeting with both the airport and subcontractors to work towards resolution, end of quote. And according to the airport, this dispute is now mostly resolved, but still some disputed amounts are being worked through. But this dispute has been quite costly, especially for travelers, passengers who must continue to use that cut-through parking garage to get to the other side of Terminal C until early September, late August at the soonest, from what I've been told. Remember, this was supposed to be done last fall. At the airport, Eric Von Anken, News 6.
So we still have a little thunderstorm or two just from Orange City, Deltona, all the way back down toward the Winter Springs area. So that will continue to fizzle out tonight and then return tomorrow, increasing into the weekend.
Okay, all right.
Heat
We'll watch it this weekend. Heat tomorrow to watch out for. You can find all of tonight's stories and breaking news on News 6 Plus. It's free to download to your smart TV or streaming device. We'll see you again at 11. Good job.